listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, welcome to Animal Party. It's Deb Wolf, and today I have back with me Laura Cook. I've had her on many times, and most of the time we talk about animals and people and healing and allergies and things like that. And today I had planned to ask her all about pollen, because I know that world pollen counts are off the scale and people are really, really suffering. And she's helped me so much in the past with my allergies to what I thought was just cherry trees, but it's probably pollinating trees. And she's helped animals with allergies, people with allergies to animals. She understands allergies really, really well and how they work and how the body works. But so as I was preparing for this show, and we will talk about that, I saw a magazine in the supermarket last night, Maclean's. It's a Canadian magazine. It's sort of our Newsweek or Time, that kind of thing, but for Canada. And the article says, what you'll be eating soon. And it has this big, scary picture of a tomato that looks half like a tomato and half like a goldfish. And then when you read the article, it talks about this guy's fictional book about what we might be eating in the future. And then the journalist actually goes through and tells us how close we are to that now. And that's where it got really scary for me. Because in addition to thinking all the things I normally think about, you know, combining things and science not realizing what it's doing and all that, I right away thought about allergies. You know, if an allergy is my body not recognizing pollen as something normal, what would happen if my body got slammed with a tomato that's half fish? So I told Laura I'd be talking about this today, and I think way over there, hundreds of miles away from me, her tail started wagging. So welcome to the show, Laura Cook.
Hi, Deb. It's great to be here. Yeah, that article, I've been scanning through it. It's pretty good. Pretty
well,
juicy,
at first,
hey?
You know, when you hear, okay, you have milk that gets rid of the flu. Okay, that sounds all right. And then they sort of back it up by saying, you know, they've already done some of this. They've put vitamin A in yellow rice so that thousands, millions of kids in Africa now have the vitamin A they need and aren't dying. Okay, well, that doesn't seem so bad. But on the other hand, it is bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done lots of research over the years with GMOs, specifically with how the body is reacting to it on different levels and the levels that I can read. But the biggest problem started out with the grains. They were, Monsanto was genetically modifying grains so that they would be a suicide grain, essentially that the farmers would plant the grain, but the grain wouldn't produce a viable seed. So
they have to be ordered. It's not perennial. Mm-hmm. And this is something really dangerous because if it gets wiped out, you're hooped.
Yeah, so there was there's always going to be huge battles with it because they're integrating and cross-pollinating with, you know, heritage seeds and heritage species all over the world. And they're making these farmers dependent on fertilization and buying the seeds again. The sound and the picture you're
so you mean about. The genetically modified seed that's been made so that it's a one-off deal. It flowers, it
suicide
becomes
gene, yeah.
It mixes suicide gene. Wow. Okay, so it mixes with our beautiful heirloom fruits and vegetables we've been eating for all time, and it makes them so they can't reproduce. Is that what it is?
The genetic modification, yeah, it does that. Yeah.
That's terrible.
The genetic
so then our own seeds
implications are huge. We should research the corn because you have these beautiful corn, age-old beautiful corn being grown in these little villages around Mexico, and some of the farms that are beside the highways, the trucks are going by and then seeds are falling off, like the corn kernels are falling off and landing in these ancient fields, and they have these weird monster inbred corn things popping up. And then they get their whole, they can easily pick them out. These are the ones that are genetically modified because they don't look like anything else there. They're huge. They're massive plants. They have weird sort of mutant growths coming off of them. And yeah, it's really scary when you get into it. But the fish tomato one, that was a modification that got pulled off a long time ago. It's probably been back on. And why they did a salmon modification with the tomato gene is that it makes the tomato last longer. But it tasted horrible.
Oh. That's
and there's no labeling, right? So everybody would, you'd buy your tomato and you don't know that it's genetically modified. You have absolutely no labeling in Canada. So
what about
pretty
America?
much everything you're eating.
Do they have labeling in America? No, not in America either.
No.
It's talking about how, the people who advocate this are talking about how they could make a hamburger that has the same kind of fat content as a healthy piece of salmon or a healthy avocado. And when I read that, I thought, well, why not just eat a healthy piece of salmon or a healthy avocado? But is there some argument to this that if you can make hot dogs with 1/3 of the fat and a lot of it with way less fat and use some kind of this fat they're making is called oil jello, and it just scares the heck out of me because I don't know what it's going to do long term. But it's supposed to be better than beef fat, but taste like beef fat and have the texture of beef fat. And they're going to make hot dogs with it. Is it because it'll make kids less fat, they say? You see? So you have to weigh the two things. But tell me why this is the wrong way to go. It just feels so the wrong way to go.
Hot dogs are, they're the remnants of processing. And in general, I don't ever give them to my children, just because that's what they are, not including all the nitrates and everything that's in them. But yeah, you're getting more genetic modification of these fats that you change something just by cooking it. Just by cooking your fat, you change it, and your body doesn't really understand it that great. So you can imagine the implications of having these completely genetically modified substances in your body. It doesn't work that great. And
so would a person who's allergic to fish right now taking this tomato have a terrible reaction and not even know they should avoid that tomato? Like there's that, right? And then there's maybe someone who's not allergic to either will all of a sudden be allergic to the mix. Okay, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you how allergies play into all this. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We're talking with Laura Cook, and this is Deb Wolf on Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. Come back to the party.
Don't go anywhere, because the best is yet to come. Stick around.
Petco, where the pets go. Petco, where the pets go.
Pet Life Radio has tail-wagging, fur-flying, fabulous deals for our listeners from Petco. Get $6 off your order of $60 or more and up to 40% off the entire Petco site. That's right.
But that's not all.
Because you're a Pet Life Radio listener, you'll also get free shipping on your order of $49 or more. $6 off, up to 40% off,
and free shipping
from Pet Life Radio and Petco. To get these awesome deals, go to PetcoDeals.com. That's PetcoDeals.com.
Petco, where the pets go.
I'm not much of a reader, but I do wish I were more well-read.
There are so many great books coming out. I wish I could find a way to keep up.
Audible.com makes it easy to stay well informed and catch up on your reading simply by listening. Audiobooks from Audible turn downtime into uptime. You'll be more productive and become well read.
Now I'm able to catch up on all the great books I've been wanting to read.
With Audible, I feel smarter.
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to petmeds.com/party, PARTY, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more.
This
This year, Americans are expected to spend a jaw-dropping $36 billion on their pets. From lighted leashes to high-end spa products, the discriminating pet owner can find just about anything to pamper his or her pet. Hi, this is Michelle Fern. Join me every week for Best Bets for Pets, where we'll talk about the latest pet products and talk to the companies that make them. Best Bets for Pets, every week, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
You're inside the VIP room
with the hottest party in town.
Back to the party.
Let's go.
Hello, we're back on Animal Party with Pet Life Radio, and I'm your host, Deb Wolf. And here with me today is Laura Cook. And I saw this scary article showing this piece of food that's supposed to be half fish, half tomato. So I bought the magazine. It's got a banana inside that's peeled, and it's brown, white, and pink like Neapolitan ice cream. They're saying they can make a banana that tastes like an ice cream sundae. And they're saying, whimsically, this is interesting, but also it'll mean kids will eat bananas instead of sundaes. It'll mean that if the world is short of protein, they can make it in a petri dish. And they are, in fact, doing that right now somewhere at a university in Europe. They're actually, I'm just going to try and figure out where they're doing that horrible little experiment. In the Netherlands, a scientist is now working to grow real meat from a cow's stem cells. So all this stuff is actually happening. It might solve world hunger, but I think health-wise, it might be very dangerous. So Laura's going to help us understand how allergies work for normal things like pollen, but also how all this would fit into the mix. Welcome back, Laura. Come to the party.
Hey, Deb. It's an amazing thing to think about, and we battle with pollens on a daily basis, and the amount of toxins in our environment is huge and hugely increased, and our pollen counts are, I've just been reading some things about double peak average is happening, and then, you're throwing all of these genetic modifications into our foods, not to mention the antibiotics that are being given to the animals and are being put in our water supplies. Our systems are overloaded, and it's coming up in our immune systems and how our immune systems are being super sensitized and reactive, and we're getting huge amounts of anaphylaxis coming up, and then the cases of autism and Asperger's and all of these developmental issues are skyrocketing. And how
where's the
being
connection?
Affected by the GMO, right? Where's the connection? Where's the connection? And you have to look at it.
Where's the connection between those two things you just mentioned, kids with autism and learning troubles, emotional problems? How does that relate to
allergies?
Yeah, and I'm not getting you there.
Well, in my work, I see it as the 4 A's: allergies, asthma, autism, and Asperger's. They sort of all interconnected because a lot of their sources are similar. You're looking at the environmental impact of the toxins in our environment and how that affects our immune systems and digestive systems. 80% of our immune system is in our digestive system, and a lot of these developmental issues are, sourced in the digestive system. So when our systems, we're eating food that is toxic or, different, that our body doesn't understand, our immune systems are going to be affected because 80% of our immune system is in our digestive system. So when I say asthma, autism, allergies are sort of interrelated, you look at the load, the toxic load that our bodies are taking and how it's affecting our livers and our absorbency, our abilities to absorb minerals and understand minerals. And this is where my work, I see that, when I get a kid with severe allergies, often it'll point into how their body's accepting minerals and nutrients. And where are they getting these minerals and nutrients? So they need to have these specific minerals and nutrients to detoxify. And that's where it happens, right? Like sort of when that liver isn't able to detoxify substances and the immune system gets overloaded because there's so much stuff going on in the body with toxins.
So you improve the kid's diet. You change the kid's diet, and then sometimes he's less autistic. Is that what I'm getting?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of parents out there who are taking a more natural, holistic route with autism, and they're going with, supplementing with nutrients because the liver's not getting the nutrients it needs, or it's not recognizing those nutrients. And yeah, changing the diet. There's a lot of parents who are doing a diet that's no grains, higher fats, so the brain is getting more fat, because the brain needs fat for development. And when you talk about these hot dogs with a shifted kind of fat, this is the fat intake in our diet has a huge effect on our brain function and our overall, health in general, not just allergies and that. But yeah, it's a scary situation that's happening in our health. Just conventional.
Well, if people
health
are listening and they've got an autistic kid and they suspect diet is a part of the picture and they want to get a hold of you, can you let them know how to do that? And then I think we're going to move on, go back to the article because I got more to talk to you about. But what do they do? Because I didn't realize there was such a strong connection. I mean, it makes sense because you see it with other behavioral problems in children. And I know they've decided conclusively in many studies that sugar, food coloring, and flavors do not affect hyperactivity, but I do not believe those studies are correct from my own experience personally with kids and teaching and myself. There are many, many people who are highly influenced and made symptoms of hyperactivity are made worse and almost uncontrollable by artificial colors, flavors, and dyes. And it can be immediate. Mm-hmm. So I see these kids with their orange drinks and their red candies, and then they go crazy right after. And it's, within 10 minutes for about 20 minutes. It's really predictable. But I didn't know that there was such a strong connection with autism and that you could help them so much with changes in what they eat, or that they needed more fat in their diet, because it almost seems the opposite. When I see autistic kids, not all of them, but a good chunk of them seem to be on the heavy side. So I bet that a parent would naturally want to feed them less fat. You know what I mean? What's up with that?
Yeah. There's so many. I've seen a lot of autistic kids in my practice, but I don't seem to see a lot of heavier-sided autistic kids.
Okay.
I would say it's just who you're being exposed to, I guess, and what their diets are. And I would say that the kids that I see the parents are very strictly on a holistic path of healing anyways.
Right. So you would have a different view, yes. And I see the problem saying
very clearly understanding a lot of diet.
Yeah, and the children I'm thinking of are a little bit older, a little bit more able to get the food they want. So it's an inhibition problem, inhibiting the desire for bad foods and controlling the amounts and things like this. Like at a school event, you'll see those kids sort of parking themselves at the food and things like this. But not all of them, like you say. But it certainly are so many more kids, it seems, with autism than ever before. And I don't think it's just that people are noticing and reporting more. I really do. They're just obviously out there more. I'm seeing them more with my own eyes. They're just such a huge part of the population. And so our diet must be connected. So I'm happy you can help some people. So where do they go if they want to get some help?
Yeah, my website is www.thewayoflaura.com or twol.ca.
Okay, thewayoflaura.com.
And I have the line I use is 604-200-3895.
Okay.
And yeah, that's how people reach me.
And that's true too if you have allergies, if you're allergic to your cat or your cat's allergic to your new house or somebody scratching and itching and won't stop, or somebody in the house just won't get better, kid or adult or pet. I've had you help me with so many things, which, by the way, my little Shayna is very, very stuffed up today and having a lot of problems with, I believe, allergies. And me too, as we hit high cherry tree season here. And they're having all these festivals to celebrate. And it's not a cause for celebration for me. If you can help us in any way, we'd appreciate that. Okay, so everybody, I'm reading the article, and it talks about how if we could raise meat in a petri dish, we wouldn't have to have all these animals. We would have just donor animals, and those animals wouldn't be slaughtered. They probably would in the end, but not en masse at young stages. And they would, cells would be harvested from them, which is much less painful and difficult. They'd have a nicer lifestyle, and the meat we'd be eating would be off this, I guess, cloned stuff, really. So why is that not a good plan?
The cloning. I'm a very big believer in energy and spirit and and how emotional imprints affect our food, and how our environment, the environment of what our food is growing up in, how that affects the health of our food and the nutrition of it. I see emotional impacts as huge in our food. I try not to eat veal because of the way it's raised. I try not to eat battery-raised chicken. So from my perspective, it's just terrible. It's not going to be a good effect on us when we're eating these foods that are not, raised in the outdoors. They're going to be raised in laboratories in huge, right now they're being mass raised in these indoor pens, and the fish that are being farm fed and farm raised are, they're not supplying us with the information that our body needs, with the nutrition that our body needs, and they're carrying things that are a little bit more scarier. A lot of the fish I'm seeing in the mega stores are, showing signs of tumors and lots of different kinds of things that I don't see in my wild fish. I get wild fish, I get my local meats, and I trust that those are strong foods for me. And
now, these tumors you're seeing, are these pond fish that you're talking about?
Yeah, these are farm fish.
Mm-hmm. Because that's one of the things the article is suggesting, that there should be fish farms on land all over the world to supply the world with protein. Mm-hmm. But it's also asking us, and it's got this really kind of, I guess it's supposed to bother us. It does bother me. And then it makes me question why it bothers me. It has this skewer of vegetables. No, it probably shouldn't. But it does bother me. It has a skewer of vegetables, the kind you would put on a barbecue or eat raw. It looks yummy. Mushrooms, green pepper. There's even zucchini. It looks nice. But every few pieces, instead of meat, there's a bug. Like there's a centipede, which I think they're toxic. I don't think I'd eat that. Then there's a beetle, a couple of beetles, and some kind of slug type thing at the top. And it says smaller animals or even edible insects might be in our future diet. Okay, should we be eating insects? We probably should, shouldn't we? Why does that bother me so much?
Well, it's just not part of your belief system. It's so far out of your food intake right now that there's people in the world who survive on insects and that, and it's a good source of protein. The smaller animals aren't eating other animals, right? You get a large halibut, the bigger fish, the bigger tuna, and they're eating smaller fish, and those smaller fish are eating and toxins and stuff in the ocean, so you get a higher sort of toxin amount. That's why there's the warnings with mercury in tuna, right? So when you're getting those bugs and that, they're not such carriers of those toxins. So I don't know, it's not that bad of an idea if they're raised wild or not so.
Do you eat bugs, Laura?
Farmed. I don't eat any bugs. No, I probably do. Everybody eats spiders.
Yeah, in their food, I guess so. Okay, well, the article also talks about how any DNA could be used in these Petri dishes. So you could have zebra burgers, giraffe burgers, giant panda burgers, California condor wings, or they say hypothetically, if they ever found a sample of T-Rex DNA, you could even have Brontosaurus burger. I just don't know that our bodies are made to handle all these things. I don't know. Are they?
No, I would look at the situation with monoculturing, because they're talking about mass production, right? And anywhere there's that mass production, you're getting things like swine flu coming out of it, because that's a sort of possibly a natural genetic modification. There's theories that it's not, but these huge pens of animals they're all sick, and they're be giving antibiotics and just tons and tons of vaccines to sort of make do, because they are, just producing. And so we're getting all of that as well, all those antibiotics and vaccines when we eat those meats. But it's producing sort of like a cesspool of animals that they have high antibiotics, so that the viruses and the bacteria are changing to react to that. And we know about that because we know about overuse of antibiotics in humans and in our kids, and how it changes bacterial resistance and all of that with our immune systems. But these monocultures are dangerous. And just as a monoculture, when you're introducing these genetic modifications, I mean, you look at it and our bodies change genes as well. Our genes change over time, and everybody's genes change. Animals' genes change over time. So they're being modified naturally, but this is too fast. It's too much. It's too weird, and it's going to cause some serious imbalance in these monocultural type of situations.
Yeah,
where,
I totally agree.
Yeah,
they call it Frankenfood, and I agree. It's just
terrible.
It's like anything their imagination can come up with. At the University of California, Davis, they take tiny gold bullets and then they fire genes from one to another inside a bombardment chamber, just seeing what works. And so they get like grape spike with jellyfish and tomato spike with carp and all these different surprises. And it just, I don't know. I just think something shouldn't be done. But I want to talk with you more about allergies. If people are hanging on because they can't breathe and they're itching their eyes and they want to know why their body doesn't understand pollen, and do they have to live like this forever? Do they have to take sprays and drugs and pills? Do they have to avoid touching cats for the rest of their life? Let's come back and talk about allergies. So everybody stay tuned at Animal Party with Pet Life Radio. It's Deb Wolf. And with me today is Laura Cook. Stay tuned to the party. You'll be breathing better.
Don't leave this party before it's over, because the best is yet to come. Only losers leave the party early anyway. Party on. Back in a few.
Every pet is unique. Maybe they're gray in the muzzle, yet young at heart. Maybe they're growing out of the puppy stage and into their paws and ears. Or maybe they're just trying to maintain a more girlish figure. At PetSmart, we have the right food for your pet at a great value for you. PetSmart. Be better together.
Go to PetSmartDeal.com and save up to 30% on awesome gifts for the pets and pet people in your life. Toys, collars, leashes, PetSmart gift cards, treats, and more. Go to PetSmartDeal.com today. PetSmartDeal.com.
Welcome to GoDaddy.com's Internet Cloud. First, get your domain name from GoDaddy.com. Then, make your business and personal internet dreams come true.
Go to GoDaddy.com. Use promo code PARTY101 and get a .com domain name for just $7.49. Party102 for 10% off your order. Party103 for $5 off $30 or more on any items. Or Party104 for 20% off one-year hosting plans at GoDaddy.com.
GoDaddy.com. Domains, websites, and everything in between.
Eddie White, what's the #1 pet radio network in the world?
Pet Life Radio.
Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. What radio network has over 5 million monthly listeners and over 50 pet talk shows?
Pet Life Radio.
Rachel Ray, where is the best place to reach potential customers if you have a pet business?
Pet Life Radio.
Put your business in front of over 5 million pet parents with a radio ad on Pet Life Radio, the award-winning #1 pet radio network on the planet. Call our sales department today. Toll free at 877-385-8882. That's 877-385-8882. Or email us at sales@petliferadio.com. Steve Wozniak, if Apple was a pet business, where would you advertise your iLeash?
On Pet Life Radio.
Pets can be a wonderful addition to your life because they're a member of the family. Keeping them healthy and happy is important. Pet Life Radio presents The Pet Doctor with veterinary media consultant and veterinarian Dr. Bernadine Cruz. Whether you have a dog, cat, reptile, or rabbit, you'll find answers for your pets straight from the vets. The Pet Doctor, on demand every week, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
You're inside the VIP room.
with the hottest party in town.
Back to the party.
Let's go.
Hello! Welcome back to Animal Party with Deb Wolf on Pet Life Radio. And today we have Laura Cook, and she will now get to it. Why are there so many of us, me included, scratching and rubbing our eyes and sneezing and taking all kinds of drugs we don't want to take because it's springtime, and it's the springtime of the century, it seems.
Yeah, it is. I've just been reading those double peak average pollen counts out all over the country. Maple, oak, and ash are big, and then down in the coast where you are, it's the cherry blossoms that are coming out huge.
My favorite. Oh, yes. Gotta love them. Big,
well,
big,
the pollen
big.
count, the pollen count changes are, I see a lot of, in the Lower Mainland and in any big sort of urban, suburban area, you're going to have these developments, these little developments, and they're planting a lot of the male trees of one species.
Yeah, non-fruiting male trees that just kill. Why are they doing that? No fruit, no benefit, just pollen. Come on.
Yeah, so they're just like, over-pollination. Where are the girls? I don't know. Let's just put out more. And they're,
that's what it is. Crazy.
That's a big one.
Here.
Yeah. And
seems like every flock votes that tree is their favorite tree, and then every single tree that gets planted this year is on. Like, come on, guys. There's other trees in the world. Oh, well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's pretty intense. And then you get your different things like rain. And if you're in a rainy place, then the rain brings it down out of the atmosphere. But when it dries up, you got all this pollen that's sort of drying up and being kicked around, right? And also the rainy places have a lot of mold. And that's what I see is like mold is a huge reaction for most people. And so when you get the mold coming out from it's warming up, you get a little bit more mold happening, and then you get the pollens, and then your immune system is just sort of overloaded, and you're going to have these multiple triggers happening at the same time.
You're talking about mold outside, right? You're not talking about in your home. You're talking about like natural stuff you can't do anything about.
Mold growing in the forest. If you have a lot of leaves around your house, keep them cleaned up in your yard, picked up off the road in front of your house, because there's going to be mold spores going on in there, especially in the Vancouver area, the coastal areas that get a lot more rain.
What's the difference between moss and mold in terms of allergies? Is there any difference?
Reaction to mold is very similar.
Like if I see moss, if I see moss somewhere, does that mean there's probably mold there too?
There might be, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so they're in the same
area.
place. It's hard to know where mold would be, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gutters have a lot of it if it's a rainy area and you've got leaves full of gutters. So keeping your gutters clean can make a difference too, I've seen with people. But most people, when they come in, if they're coming in person or we're working on the phone, I say, collect some of the atmosphere outside of your house with a paper towel, and then we'll work with that. And it's sort of it's an imprint of that information that's happening in your environment, and we get the body to help understand it anyways.
So what Laura does, she does this thing called body talk, which she's talking to your body, asking it what it wants, what it needs, what it's having problems with. It's amazing. She figures out, you can come to her with a whole whack of vitamins, and in the end, you only need one or two of them, or you don't need any, or you need them all, and you need some more. Or you come to her with pills you think are helping you, and your body is telling her that it's not okay to have them in the room. It's not okay to have them in the next room. It's okay to put them in the garbage. I mean, things like this, that she asks your body questions and your body says yes or no. You don't even know you're saying it. It's the weirdest thing, and you can do it remote as well, which is amazing. So you don't even have to be in the same place, which is good because you live in a place where there's not that many people. So everybody all over the world can use Laura. You just have to log on to her website and talk to her, send her an email, and she'll book an appointment. And you'll be so much better so quickly. I mean, with me, it takes recurring. I have to sort of call you every spring because my environment is so heavy. I live in the rainforest. I work with animals in a tiny patch sort of carved out of the forest, just like you're saying. And there's fruiting trees everywhere, and there's pollen everywhere, and I touch cats and dogs every single day, So it's not a one-off for me, but if I had a normal life, I think I'd be done already. Couple treatments,
The stress is a big thing too. Your stress really sort of affects your digestive system, and again, 80% of your digestive system, or 80% of your immune system is in your digestive system. So when you're stressed, you tend not to eat well, and there's just so many different factors.
See, I've always thought there was
allergies.
Good stress and bad stress. Like I like live video, I like deadlines, I like performing on stage. There's good stress. I like meeting a dog who's really a challenge. That's stressful if he's a biter, and the owner didn't bring a muzzle. Nice. But, so I like some stress. That's not going to hurt my body the way the stress I don't like does, right? Or does it? Is it all the same? Oh, okay.
Well, it really depends on a stress threshold. In Body Talk, we see that there's a level, and the level can go up or down. And sort of that level of stress changes in different people and changes over time. So you can have your stress, you get more stressed, and you hit that sort of bar, and your system just sort of shuts down. Your physical system. You might get fatigue, you might just get irritable, or you just might just have more severe allergies. It just depends on how your body's sort of communicating that level has been hit. Everybody's a little different. So some people can have really high stress threshold and they just go, and they don't seem to be affected at all. And other people just have a low one and they can't take any stress whatsoever. So that's something that Body Talk helps adjust as well, is getting your body back on a level of stress that it can handle.
Okay, so when you change their diet and you give them a treatment, it's not so much that you're figuring out if someone can't have healthy foods, you don't give up on that, right? I think sometimes people think they're going to come see you and get a list of what they're not allowed to eat anymore. And that is true, but it's not the list of the things that aren't agreeing with you. It's a list of things you shouldn't eat anyway. And then there's a list of things you can eat because say you were, if I'm always allergic to something healthy, like lentils, or tomatoes, or rice, you'll help me get over that, right?
Yes. Yeah. I just talked to this woman that I've been working with for about a year now, and she couldn't eat strawberries. And she loves strawberries. She's like, strawberries. It drives me crazy. I need my strawberries. And I said, okay, well, we'll do what we can do, and we'll just see what's going on. And the next session, she said she's been eating strawberries like crazy for the last 6 months, and she's so excited because it's almost June.
When I first came to see you, you told me my body was telling you that it was on overload from blueberries, which is really funny because I have a blueberry patch and I eat them all year round and freeze them, and I'm just so into it. And I thought, antioxidants, I'm doing my body a favor. I'm going to eat blueberries every day. And it was like, you are blueberried out, girl. Yeah. So I think sometimes we try too hard, Yeah,
and it's something we would call cellular saturation, where your body is just gets so much of that information. And if you don't listen, you don't realize, if I eat blueberries every day or bananas, I've seen somebody have a banana reaction because they just eat bananas every single day. And your body is going to tell you, it's going to flip those little responders, or their receptors in the cells. They're going to flip them out, and your body is going to start seeing that substance in a way that you don't want it to see it. It'll see it as an invader, or it'll see it as a toxin, or it'll flush it out, or it'll store it somewhere, right? Like how our cells receive information is a big key. And cellular saturation with the blueberries, that's sort of what could happen. You could eat so many of them, and then your body says, no more, you're not listening, okay, we're bringing out the big guns, and you start to have a reaction to it. And it's the physical communication. You can't understand it energetically because we're not wired to do that right now. And now, so we have this physical reaction that happens. It's pretty neat.
Well, you told me that 21 days, 3 weeks is kind of a number. That if I'm ever eating something every day, after 3 weeks, stop. Because I am like that. I get into habits, and I'll have the same thing exactly. Really, really so much like that. So it was good for you to say that to me, because now I have sort of a 3-week habit and then a different 3-week habit, a different 3-week habit.
Yeah, you're more conscious of it, right? Yeah. You understand it, you see how it's affecting your body, and when you get to a point where you need help, you just contact me, and then we just do some work to help you understand what's going on and how you can adjust your lifestyle, or how we can help your body understand things. The receptor information, I explain that a lot. I do seminars and we talk about the science of cellular healing and consciousness healing. And Dr. Bruce Lipton is a big supporter of that. He has some amazing books about science of belief and the receptors, how we can change those receptors with our beliefs, and his explanations in his books and audiobooks are very easily digested. They're easier to understand. They're not bogged down science. But I really love his work because it helps you understand how consciousness healing works and why it works so well. And not just consciousness-based healing, but energy medicine, acupuncture. He's supportive of all of the alternative or complementary medicines. But yeah, if people want more information, look up Dr. Bruce Lipton because he's pretty incredible. And Body Talk is something that he really supports.
Body Talk is nice because you're like to be able to take something. I mean, I knew I was allergic to these damn trees. Every year when I start to see the very first flower somewhere, I was already having symptoms. And by the time they were in full bloom and they were having these stupid festivals, I couldn't breathe and I was, basically housebound and I was off radio. Now I do radio right through cherry tree season. And that's only since meeting you. I used to have to cancel all my shows for the most of March or April, depending on the year. And I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't do 59 minutes without coughing, so it's a huge difference. But that I could just go and snip little bits of this tree and put it in a Ziploc bag and come see you or call you and get
bags of stuff.
Right? Oh yeah, I did. I know. People thought I was like some kind of weird burglar with a pet car front or something, and I don't look like a burglar, so they probably thought it was pretty odd. I mean, here's this woman sneaking around people's balconies, cutting little things, and all the my place.
Put them in their bag.
Because it was early in the season, not much was blooming, and I knew what triggers me, and I'm looking for them. I'm like, there it is. There's forsythia over there. I'm going to go get a piece. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, yes, there's lilac. I'm off, But it was amazing. Yeah. It was such immediate, huge relief. I remember that first time because I had just come home from Florida. I'd come back here. It was spring here, so my body had no chance to prepare because I'd been away when it started. And, I got all my allergy meds from the drugstore and everything, and I was all prepared, but it takes a while. And I really, my eyes just puffed up. I looked like a little old lady with red eyes and wrinkles all over them. They were swollen and sore like a little pug, and I couldn't breathe. And it was just, I'm miserable. And I'd never seen you, but I thought, I'm going to try this because I'd, heard about you through Adored Beast Vet Clinic and all this work you were doing, healing pets with allergies. And I thought, well, if she can do it for the animals, maybe she could do it for me. And I headed over. And the way there, it was just like, I'm sort of reading the dosages on the Ventolin and the nasal spray because I'm worried about overdoing it because I have to keep stopping my car and taking more. All the windows are shut. I've not touched it, and the time when I did all this, the picking on the way to your place was the second time I came because the first time I didn't know I was supposed to do that. So I'm not touching any plants or anything. I get there and it's amazing. Like the way home, I rode with the windows open and I was singing to the radio. Halfway home, I realized, oh, wow, I can breathe. I can sing. And the windows are open. and it's spring. I'm not hiding away like some, you kind of feel like the Scrooge of spring when you hate allergies and everybody else is all happy. And you're like, do you want to go for a walk? No, not really. It's a gorgeous day. No, not really. I don't think so. Let's go see the Cherry Tree Festival celebrations. No, not on your life. So you don't tell people to stay away from the things they're allergic to. You help them get over it. But sometimes you kind of have to get a little space. Like I remember you telling me there was this one cat lion who I still love and adore. And you were saying to me, it might be a good idea for the next little while he didn't touch your face so much. Easier said than done when he sleeps on my head. But, it's so sometimes you need to sort of back off a bit for a while and then you can go back to your old exposure, right? There's a little bit of play.
Yeah. We did a lot of work with you and animals, and I have so many people who love their animals so much, and they suffer. And I recently have a long-term client. I've seen him for 5 years or more, and he was all of a sudden was being exposed to this new cat, and he just came in and we worked on him with the cat hair, and he was fine. And after that, and he was so excited because he didn't have to,
give up the cat.
And the antihistamine and everything. And I've had a woman that could not breathe. She couldn't be in a restaurant if somebody was wearing a jacket, if they had a dog and that dog hair was on the jacket or something. She had severe asthma. And we had to do quite 10 sessions, I guess, with her. But
see, I meet those people, and I pass out your card. And the reason I meet those people, one of them's my bank teller. I go up to the counter. She seems fine. Partway through doing my transaction, she's rubbing her eyes. She's sneezing. She's coughing. It's me. She's allergic to me. Yeah. She goes, I touch cats and dogs all day long. Oh, yeah, I'm a walking, petri dish for this poor woman. And then she says, I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm not sick. As she grabs a tissue and I say, are you allergic to cats and dogs? She's like, oh, terribly allergic to, she named something, Labradors or something. And I'm like, well, yeah, got 3 of them at camp right now. Okay. That would do it, you know. And I look clean. It doesn't look like there's any hair on me, but the allergies, no. So, okay, so everybody, if you're thinking, that's me, that's my kid, can't have pets, you know, what can we do? Laura Cook, thewayoflaura.com. Thank you very much, Laura, for helping us understand what we're eating and how allergies work. And I know I'll have you back again. Thanks for joining me. You know what? I think I'm going to email you just so you know what's up with me and my kids in case you want to give us a little healing treatment. We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll have to do a consultation here.
There you
Follow
go.
up with you guys.
Yeah, well, we're off for a riding lesson right now. We're going to change clothes and go riding. And it's a nice indoor ring, so we won't be out in the pouring rain. And we got 3 horses ridden before by special request, so we're all excited. I'm going to canter and jump. My kids are going to learn how to hold their hands and sit properly. It's perfect. Yes, I can't wait.
Beautiful.
I'm so excited. I'll be paying
Thank you
for it
so
tomorrow,
much.
then. Okay. Well, next
Thanks
time I
so
go
much for
riding,
having
I'm
me.
hoping it'll be with you, Laura. I could always get a horse for you, you know. Yeah.
I know.
We'll go in the
I'll
trails.
be down there.
Oh, so May, that's next week. They start to open up the trails. That'd be really good. I'd love to go riding with you.
We'll
in the
book a
forest.
day. I'll be there in the end of May.
Oh, nice. Okay, talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on the show. All right, everybody, that was Animal Party Pet Life Radio. We did not have our horses here today. We were talking cats and dogs, allergies, and the food you eat. Come to the next party, and until then, be good to your animals. From Deb Wolf and Pet Life Radio.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.